Hello everyone and welcome to another beer review. We are in the thick of the corona epidemic, and so I'm taking all precautions and wearing my mask as I should. Today we're going to be drinking a corona inspired beer All Together by Brewdog. This isn't an exclusive Brewdog beer. We're going to talk about that. I'm going to take my mask off because I've already seated myself at my desk and therefore am totally safe from all kind of corona infection. Let's get this puppy opened up, start drinking, and start talking about it. Why don't we, eh? Alright, let's, as always, let's take a look at this puppy, drink it, and then we'll get into chatting about it. It's a very pale beer, quite like a straw yellow, I would say. Hazy. It's an IPA, if I didn't already mention that. New England in style, although there is a West Coast IPA variant of this. Not a lot of head going on. I can smell it from here, so it's probably going to be a nice hop bomb. Yeah, nice combination of tropical fruits. Mango, peach, a little bit of citrus in there as well. Alright, let's drink it, why don't we, huh? Yeah, not bad. Nice, easy drinking. Although it is pretty hazy, there's nice crispness and dryness to it as well. Nice medium bitterness. Definitely New England style, more hop aroma and hop flavor than there is bitterness in that. Quite a nice, delicious, refreshing summer beer just in time for fall. So yeah, All Together. You guys might have seen this label as the Corona pandemic has exploded in seriousness. And the goal of this beer is really to bring awareness and provide relief for the hospitality industry and the workers in that industry. As you guys, I'm sure, are very well aware of, hospitality has been one of the hardest hit industries because of the corona pandemic. No one's going out to bars, no one's having events, no one's going out to restaurants because they've all had to be closed or have to have, only a certain limited amount of customers at one time. That, of course, because of capitalism, means that there aren't as much monies flowing and changing hands, which means it's bad for the economy. In order to help kind of relieve this, Other Half Brewing from Brooklyn, New York, they started this kind of movement with All Together beers, what they're calling it. They've open sourced the recipe, the artwork, the labels, and pretty much what they're doing is asking brewers from around the world to brew this beer with this All Together logo, sell it, and everything that they get from that beer that they've sold, they cover their costs, and the rest goes to charity or to hospitality relief foundations. So Brewdog is one of the many breweries that have hopped on that wagon and have brewed this beer in order to help out with the corona pandemic that is hitting the hospitality management especially hard, financially at least. And in total there's 855 breweries that have made this type of beer in 53 countries throughout the world. So it's not just a localized United States kind of a thing. Obviously Brewdog is from Scotland, and so they're also trying to do their part. A couple of issues I have with this beer, however. And the first is really the style and the recipe of the beer. So because this pandemic has hit service industry people especially hard, not as many people are going out to bars and restaurants, and as a result, brewers, restaurants, and bars don't have as much money to, continue their business. This beer isn't the most cheap beer ever. Now, while the hospitality industry has been hit hard, pretty much everyone has been financially affected by this, whether they've lost their job or have been reducing their hours and are therefore taking home less income. I don't know if this is exactly the right style to be brewing if you're trying to kind of make it easily accessible and have everyone come together to support a cause. Let's talk about the actual recipe for a second. The malt bill is pretty simple. It's just 2-row base pale ale malt, flaked oats, and carapils, which a lot of breweries use and is pretty easy to come by. But yeah, the flaked oats, unless you're a craft beer brewery brewing a lot of New England IPAs and a lot of stouts, they're not always the most commonly used style of grain. But the real problem is with the hops. Hops are the most expensive part of a beer. That's why a lot of IPAs are more expensive than, say, a Pilsner, just because of the actual cost of the hops. And here's the hop varieties that are in this: Columbus, Mosaic, Cascade, Simcoe, and Citra. These are all American-style hops that are pretty much grown in America, 2 of which are proprietary hops. Now, what proprietary hops means is that they're trademarked, essentially. There's hop growers and companies that, develop these hop varieties, and because they're so successful, then they trademark or proprietize them, and they have the sole rights to grow and distribute those hops. Simcoe and Citra are both proprietary hops, the rights of which are owned by American growers, and that makes it more difficult to, one, get, because only a limited number of farms can grow those hops, and the distribution is also a lot more limited. Cascade, for example, which is also in this beer, that's a hop variety that's open to everybody. It can be grown in the United States, it can be grown in Germany, it can be grown in Australia, and is a lot more readily available, even though the flavor won't be exactly the same. It's a hop that's more readily available and can be used throughout the world, essentially. Simcoe and Citra, again, are a different story. Simcoe and Citra are also just not the cheapest hops to grow. And you're just using a lot of hops in this beer in general. And like I said at the beginning, hops are the most expensive part of the beer. I would almost assume if the goal of this beer is to sell a bunch of it to raise money to help the hospitality industry, you would just make a cheaper beer to make so that there is a little bit more on top that would be able to be donated to whatever cause you want to donate it to. I can't remember exactly how much this can cost, but I think it's in the range between 4 and 5 euros, which is not cheap. But I've also seen varieties of this all-together beer from different breweries. Granted, they were in bigger cans, but they're over 10 euros for a pint can of this beer. That is ridiculous. Now, if it were a pale ale or a porter or, a red ale, you could buy a whole 6-pack for about 10 euros. So I just think the recipe just has some room to improvement if you really want to kind of get this beer out and to have a lot of people get behind this cause and to raise more money for that cause. I know I'm sounding like I'm just trying to rain on a good cause, but it's, that's just my opinion. I think that the beer is very good. I like this beer. Nope, it might be a good idea. I should make a video on trying to brew this style of beer and see how that tastes. If you think that is also a good idea, please comment below and tell me so. We didn't really talk much about the brewery. The brewery, like I said, is Brewdog. I think that most of you guys probably have heard of Brewdog. If you haven't, you must be living under a rock. They have a huge presence in Europe, of course, because that's where they're from, but also in Asia and North America. You can find Brewdog beer pretty much throughout the world. And they're making good beers. This is not a bad beer by any means. Really nice and flavorful, no oxidation. It smells amazing, tastes amazing. I really like it. I'm not gonna lie, I really like it. I like this idea, and just within the last year or two, this kind of a movement through beer brewing has caught on, and it's a kind of a cool way to get behind kind of a movement that pretty much everyone supports through beer. And anytime people are drinking more beer, I'm always going to give 2 thumbs up to that, especially if it's for a good cause. But on that note, just about to the end of this puppy. I want to thank you guys for watching this review. Please give it a thumbs up if you like it. If you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe. Go out and buy some all-together beer, whether it's from Brewdog or Other Half or whoever, and help support a good cause. Stay safe, stay healthy, wear your mask, wash your hands, and if you're in the United States, don't forget to support common sense gun control legislation. And until next time, I will see you guys next time. Cheers!